What's going on, Spray Wash Academy and everybody else? Dougie Doo and Raymond are both under the weather tonight, so I'm broadcasting live from Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. It's hot, humid, but it's good washing weather. If you can, if you're watching this, try to share this to the other groups. Um, since they're under the weather, I'm just going to do kind of a quick, maybe like a 20-30 minute live stream here. And if you have any questions, feel free to message them to me or chat or whatever. And I'll do my best to answer those questions with what knowledge I have. Um, I'm just going to small talk for a few minutes until I get some questions or whatever else that comes in. You can message me on Facebook. You can text me if you have my number. If you have any questions, I'm going to kind of freestyle this tonight. Just talk about maybe a couple of topics and go from there. Um, Wild West Wash Services, what's up? Um, I hope I my crews and I are really looking forward to the huge convention, which is next week. It's kind of cool to say that now. Um, Next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I hope to see every one of you there. I'm pretty candid. If you've messaged me in the past, I'm not going to BS you. I will tell you straight out, I am not getting paid to teach any of the classes. Although I am in the rig building class, I'll be instructing that, but I don't get paid a dime for any of it. I'm, excuse me. I'm not asking for a dime. I love to teach. I love to instruct. I like to watch things work. Um, and that's why I like rig building. Every one of our rigs, all five of them, none of them have been to a shop to have anything built. They've all been built by us using our own ingenuity, things off of ideas off of Facebook. As you know, I'm real big on the lights. I love lights. I don't know why. I guess I'm still a kid at heart, but our water tanks, they all are lit. The SH tanks are lit. Um, our new flatbed, my son wants to put, rock lights underneath to make it cool. I mean, whatever. It's all about standing out, being different. I mean, that's the thing. Um, you know, in your area, you may have competition, and we do too. We're friends with most of them, and the other ones we don't even really know. Um, some are part timers, some are full timers, and some are trying to retire. So, and that's fine. I encourage each and every one of you to talk with your competitors, and if you can, be friends with them. Because who knows, you may be bidding against them, and which you probably will be, but at least you're on a friend to friend basis. You're not out there to you know in a cutthroat type market to where you all can keep the same kind of pricing. Let's see. What hose that's lightweight and not stiff would you recommend for a 3/4 booster? Good question. I can't see the name. You got to register on StreamYard so I can see your name, but I'll answer your question. We run a 1 horsepower booster, and on the 1 horsepower, we are doing half-inch ag hose and 200 to 225 feet, and it works really well. We've ran 5/8 before, but if you enjoy dragging a log chain behind you, then go right ahead. But half-inch has kind of been our sweet spot. Just mailed in my deposit today for a skid from Lee Ellis. Looking forward to building it out soon. Very cool, man. Love to see growth. Um, it's just that tells me and tells others that hey, you're out there. You are, um, you're making your name known, and you must have goals. And I love that. Harry Tate says, "Good health and speedy recovery to Ray and Dougie. I'm sure that this sickness is probably bittersweet because at least it isn't next week, and they're out missing the huge. So as of right now, they are still on for the huge. So I want to be of the last washer you mentioned. I want to be of the last washer you mentioned. I don't know what that means, Alan. And Jacob, Jacob Dale, he's a real comedian. Man, just when I think well, there it went. Anyways, that was a funny comment, Jacob. I think these hosts can't get any sexier, and I was right. Well, you're right. I mean, this is a lot of sexiness. But anyways, guys, I'm up for questions. Go ahead and comment them now. A lot of people are coming on. Again, share to other groups. I'm just sitting here in my easy chair. Um, my wife's sitting here too, and the dogs are playing. So if you hear something, that's just them. Let's see. MTH Power Wash said getting some wraps. A logo's being designed. Cool, man. Love it. Um, one of the things it kind of blows my mind is if you think back, where'd you come from? What'd you start with? Did you have goals? Ask yourself those questions. Uh, and then look at yourself now. Back when I started, I didn't have any goals. I mean, I was happy to get a $200 house wash. I mean, that was great. Thought I was, rich. But, I guess I was at the time. I was rich because I was happy. I wasn't financially rich. Um, I'm still not financially rich because I like to buy toys, and toys sometimes is pressure washing stuff, lights and whatever else. Um, but don't forget where you came from because, I've caught myself a few times saying, "Oh, that's only a $400 job. That's it." And I'm thinking, wait, that's still good money. Don't be laughing at that. And you don't want to get the big head. That's something that I encourage you not to do. Let's see. Time is more valuable than money. I do agree with that. You're 100% correct. Time is money. Your experience in the field, whether you take any kind of online training or in class training or free trainings at the huge or whatever event that you may go to, uh, knowledge is power these days. And the guys that, no offense to anybody here, but your competitors around, maybe they could be just kind of shooting from the hip on some of these jobs, to where you have the knowledge and the expertise and the experience. You've done it before. That's your power right there. So keep that in mind. um, MTH Power Wash. My real start was COVID and ran out of money to buy signs. Told the wife I wanted to make the loan payment. How things have changed. Yes, COVID. Excuse me. COVID has definitely turned this world upside down. Fortunately, and I hope you had the same results. But at least for us, last year being the first COVID year, we did pretty well. People just wanted to be clean. As a matter of fact, uh, the it was Monday or Tuesday after Tennessee. I'm not sure what state you're in, but we were somewhat shut down. The Monday after, because ours was closed on a Friday, by the way, but the Monday after, we went to go wash a house and driveway, and everybody was home, and that was pretty cool. Um, we talked to the homeowners. We had a good conversation with them. But as the crews were washing, people were walking up and down the street and socializing and that sort of thing. And our rigs kind of turned into a concession stand. We were booking jobs just standing there, and that was pretty cool. So I hope y'all experienced that. Of course, I've heard some other stories of other professions where they took a huge hit. So got to keep them in mind as well. So don't Don't get the big head about it. Let's see. Being a fan of the booster, have you tried XJet and downstream and see if it's much faster or not? Yes. Great question. That's actually one of the things I'm going to talk about in the rig building class. I actually talked about it today at lunch with Brandon. XJet, I'm not a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people can use it. I'm just, as far as dragging two hoses around, I'd rather just drag one around, to be honest. But if you're on a budget and that's what you can do, then do it. Also, batch mixing, if you want to do that, you can do it. Downstream, we still downstream to this day. We did today, as a matter of fact. It's a great tool. We mainly use it for just light cleaning, such as vinyl siding, um, you know, and other things like that. Now, brick homes, if they don't have any kind of organic stains on the brick, then the whole house is downstreamed, including the exterior gutters, fascia soffits, and that sort of thing. So yes, I have used those. Thinking about moving up from a 5.5 to an 8 gallon minute. Mainly do roofs and some houses. Not a lot of flat work, but heard some say 8 is too much for house washes. Thoughts? Um, well, either one is going to work for you. Yes, the 8 will be better. I guess you'll say it'll shoot further. You'll get some more distance out of it, but then it also depends on your water supply. And if I recommend, and this is just me, but I recommend 200-gallon tank per 8 gallon machine. So just kind of keep that in mind. If your water source can do it, then do it. Um, and then you might find yourself doing more flat work, which that'll also, cause growth with your business. Um, let's see. Jacob, funny man, said we were home a lot more and noticed the dirt. Well, people were home a lot more and noticed the dirt. That's correct. They were home. In my area, contractors were one of the busiest people around. I'm talking about, remodeling houses, adding on decks. I mean, everybody wanted something done. I think Jacob makes a good point. They were home to finally see it and take the time to look at it. So, let's see. MTH Power Wash had a question on metal roofs if we get there eventually. Well, do it. I don't have an agenda. I'm just sitting here talking to you. So, I'm kind of filling in for Dougie and Raymond. Let's see. Looking forward to the rig building class. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, man. I like I said, I love rig building. We finally have a shop with a concrete floor, so I'm not out here in my gravel driveway building rigs anymore. And my skin thanks me. Um, but yeah, the shop. Well, here's the thing. Let's do this. If you were to have a shop, let's say for the beginner folks and the intermediate folks, if you were to have a shop, what would you put in it? Well, I can tell you what we have in ours. I've got a toolbox, a roll around toolbox that is dedicated only for mobile rig building. So if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I've got a job in 3 hours. This just went down. Can you help me?" Yeah, sure. Throw it in the shop, back it up. I'll roll the toolbox over, and it's got everything I pretty much need, for a general rig. Um, so that's pretty cool. O-rings and sockets and that sort of thing. And one of the things we just introduced to the shop this week was I think it's a 60 or 70-gallon air compressor, so we can run impact wrenches, just whatever pneumatic tools you want to use, drills, that sort of thing. And we're also about to order a pretty expensive aluminum welder. And if you know anything about welding, those are not cheap, and they require 220 for the electrics. So that's coming up as well. Let's see. Yep. Also, Middle Tennessee 2020 was a record year. Yep. I don't want to say that in public, but yes, that's we experienced the same thing as well. So, but again, stay humble. Remember that we may dive down again, you know, and it not be as profitable. So, um, Ryan Wakefield, we have an 8 gallon a minute ish machine. It's too much, in my opinion, for residential. A lot of issues with wheat poles over a smaller rated machine. True, very true. Now, on the 8 gallon a minute machine, when we're downstreaming, we're using the M5 Twist, I believe it's called. Get it at the power wash store, but that's and I mentioned the power wash store because I live 34 miles from one, so I guess I'm a little lucky there. But I'm not going to mention vendors too much. That's not the place for this. Just wanted to kind of give you, but the Twist is what we use for downstreaming. We also have J-Rod setups as well, but I prefer the Twist over any of them. Let's see, got 3,200 foot on a garage and farmhouse for a repaint. Wasn't sure if we are pricing this the same as regular cleaning. I'm confident I can downstream the entire thing. Rate is 45 cents. If somebody tells me they're about to paint their house, what we do is we just, you know, price a normal house wash, but we also add a little bit to it because we're going to do a little bit extra. You know, soap it up, rinse it, and then we rinse it. We're going to give a little bit of pressure, not high pressure by any means. And if it's on vinyl, we're just going to give it a house wash. But a brick house, just to get any kind of loose dirt, maybe a dirt dauber, spider webs, etc. You know, whatever the SH didn't take off. You know, we'll use a little bit of pressure. If we have to, we'll agitate with a brush, but you know, so I would charge a little extra, but I wouldn't be over the top crazy about it. Of course, get what you can get. I mean, that's the name of the game. So, shop forklift, toolbox shelf with extra parts, whiteboard. Yes, we have whiteboards in the shop as well. We've got 2 of them right now, 3 of them. One of our boards is just for the rig. We have the rigs listed. And the guys know when they come home for the day, if anything broke, they're putting it on the whiteboard and they're texting us, letting us know. But we also put the mileage on there. We run all diesel trucks. So we put the mileage for the fuel filters, oil changes, that sort of thing. I need to put on there because we just got the whiteboards, but I need to put the hours of the pressure washers on there so we know when to change the oil. The pump oil, you know, any kind of belts and that sort of thing. So, you know, and if you have a house, you know, I mean, that's how I started too. You know, a little whiteboard just for yourself so you don't forget. I mean, I'll be 41 this year, and I'm forgetful. I do forget things. I'm human. So if you write them down, but you know that will help you. I've even forgot things I put on my phone. I have an iPhone. I put it in the notes section or notepad, and I still forgot where it was. So, you know, we're all human, but our goal here is to be, you know, professionals in the field. And you know, forgetting things is it's human, but you know, the more you forget, the less professional you are, in my opinion. So. You got the new fuel injected Honda motors. Any issues? Yes, we do have one. I'm not trying it out. I mean, I bought it, so it's running. I'm running the IGX 800, which is fuel injected. I'll tell you a couple more things about it in a second. It's got a general pump TSF 2021 on it, and it's reduced gear drive. Man, I love it. And you know, it's only got about 50 to 60 hours on it right now. So, you know, still playing around with it, but it's doing wonderful. Couple little things on the IGX 800 that's different from the 690. It's not huge, but there is no more choke. So you don't have to pull the lever anymore. So if you're lazy like me, you just turn the key and it starts. I mean, I don't care how cold or how hot it is. The other thing is that the throttle is no longer a throttle cable. That's been deleted. It's now on a resistor. So basically all you're doing is just turning a dial, and that's your RPM. So pretty cool little feature there. But I mean, everything else looks pretty similar. There's an oil cooler on the side that I noticed, but you know, that's the main thing. But yeah, I encourage you, get the 800 if you want to. I paid, I think, $400 more than the 690. So we'll see what happens. But I'm also put on lots of sign in the front overlaps away from this. Sorry, guys. I'm on an iPhone 11 or 12 Max, whatever this is, and I cannot read these little comments. But let's see. Oh, he's talking about the house he's gonna are gonna clean and it's gonna get painted. I got what you're saying. Jacob, no gearbox issues yet. Of course, we're only, like I said, 50 hours into it. So, actually, thinking back on it though, most of the 8 gallon a minute machines I have, they're all gearbox. The hot box I have is not. I'm only thinking maybe 2 or 3, because we have 8 of them, 8 gallon a minute machines, but 2 or 3 are belt drive. The rest are gear drive. No issues so far. The 2 on my red rig, they're both gear drives. I don't have any issues. They've got 500 to 600 hours on them since last year. So, Ryan, I thought I seen you sold your business. No, not me. I did not sell my business. I'm still in the working class. I don't have plans to sell it anytime soon. We're doing well, and we're loving it. But I'll let the others answer. But I think most of us know Dougie Doo sold his. Raymond has sold his. He is on his way out of his contract with his, as far as I believe. I hope I didn't get in trouble for saying that. I thought that was common knowledge. But do not go against the overlap. All right. I see what you're saying now, like on a vinyl home, because the vinyl obviously has laps. You want to shoot away from, so if you're facing it and it's overlapping to the left, you want to shoot from the right, is what we're trying to say. I don't make that too complicated. Ryan, I love our gearbox. Yep, it's I'm kind of a car guy, kind of an engine guy, kind of. I just like them. I don't have, no, I can't pull an engine out and rebuild it. But the gearboxes, man, they have a different tone to them than your belt drives. I like it, but that's just me. So let's see. I tell you about the sign so you're not pushing water against the lap. That's right. Yep. I get what you're saying. I keep hearing good things about gear driven. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some people say that there's leaks. The seals in the reduced gear drive leaks. Maybe that was because they were somewhat new to the market. I don't know, but we haven't had any issues as of yet. So, what do you use for those tank lights you were talking about last week? All right, here we go. I want to first tell everyone that this is not my idea for the tank lights. I actually saw it on the Spray Wash Academy page, so I'm not taking the credit for this. But these lights come off of Amazon. I'm an Amazon junkie. I've got Prime, and now most of my pressure washing parts do not come off Amazon. I don't want that cheap stuff. But the lights are called LED fishing lights, 12 volt, and some of the colors are kind of hard to find. Blue, it took like 5 days to get here, but red they generally have in stock. But red and blue are the two that we use. And you can use green, you can use white, whatever you want to use. So I do have them on a switch panel. Obviously, I don't want them running in the daytime. You won't see anything, but nighttime they're really pretty. I put a picture up of our new flatbed on my business page, Veterans Pressure Washing Inc. Just outside Nashville. You'll find it on Facebook. But I put a picture of it up. Looks great, except when I took the picture at night, my camera on my phone overexposed the tank and it looks white. So, but look above, you'll see the trees. The trees are blue. So it's a blue light. But the tank lights are cool. They're kind of showy. They draw attention at night. And for you being the operator or your employees, it's good to be able to look back and say, hey, cool, I got water, or cool, I got SH, I see it. My SH tanks are red and the water is blue, just because it's kind of, we say SH is a hot mix or hot mix, so I put red in there to kind of make it look fiery. But the kids like it, they want to point and tell their parents, which is what I want, because the parents was the one with the checkbook and dirty houses. So let's see. I have a crap Mad Max 5 with single side tensioner and had the Tefab the opposite side. I got you. Yeah, I mean, pressure washers, they're, the general, and this is arguably, obviously, but the general pressure washer that most everyone will use is an 8 gallon a minute machine. And again, others have their opinion. There's 10 gallon a minute. That's about the biggest I've seen. I've heard of others being a little bit higher, but they had to do some custom fab work. But let's see. I think strobing lights on a vehicle draw a lot of attention. Yes, except for the fact my first cousin is a police officer here in Murfreesboro, and I found out he visited us the other night while we were at the hospital cleaning. But I was asking those kind of questions. Can I drive around town with my tank lights on? And that was a real quick no. Blue, red, and green, you cannot run, at least in this state. You cannot actively run while you're on public roads. That's for the emergency, responders only. But anything else, yellow, orange, I mean, you could run on the road. I'm not telling you that you can, but look at your laws. So, uh, the lights stand up to being submerged in SH. Yes. Now, obviously, they won't last forever. I've already had to replace 2 of them so far, but here's the key: those underwater fishing lights. This is pretty obvious, but they're LED and they do get hot. They need to stay submerged in the liquid that it's in. I blew one right out of the gate. They was 3 weeks old, and I was like, "Wow, SH is attacking it." And actually, what it was I had the light suspended halfway in the tank, and I was not keeping my SH tank all the way full at all times, and so it was running at night, with no coolant. So that's what happened to that one. But these other ones, what I'm doing is I'm letting it hit the bottom of the water tank and the SH tank, and just bringing it up just off the bottom, just to where it stands up and stop. So at least 80 and 90% of the time, the light itself will be. There's my dog. He's coming up, but the dog or the other dog, or the light will be submerged and cooled down. Here in Texas, we can only not flash red lights. Gotcha. Um, well, and every state's different, so check your local laws, regulations. But here in Tennessee, red, blue, and green are off limits. And I know this because I also have a razor, and the whip lights and rock lights and all that. I can use any color but those, and they cannot be flashing. They have to be solid. It cannot be. The state law here says bright and dazzling. If they're bright and dazzling, you will get pulled over. So, what's up, Michael? But let's see. Let's hop on the metal roof thing. We touched on it last week. Well, we dove into it pretty hard last week with Doug. You do, but let's touch on it this time. About metal roofs. Of course, you got galvanized. You got a Lucabon. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Galvalume. I don't know what I'm thinking. And then tin roofs, and tin roofs are mostly painted, at least in my experience. So if you want to throw questions about roofs, go right ahead. I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I don't know. Here in Tennessee, the tile roofs are not very popular. So I've done one, and it had a carpet of algae all over it and moss. So that was a tough one. We did it. It looks tons better. And I drive by it probably twice a week just because it's on my route and it's right here by the house. And we had to shoot it with a hot mix first, dwell, then we rinse to get the carpet off. Which if I would have done it, I'll do it again. I would first get the carpet off with like a little plastic rake, try to kind of rake the big chunks off, then hit it with SH, then rinse. But we hit it with SH, rinse, then we hit it with SH again, and I did not rinse on the last pass on purpose. And every time I drive, even now, like last week, I drove by it, and every time I go by, it's looking better and better and better. So the homeowner's pleased. I've spoken with her, and that's that's what matters. But I strive for perfection, so that's why I do drive by it and check it out. I'm not seeing many questions about the metal roofs. Let's see. Let's go back talking about the huge since it's next week. Let's see. We'll get a question that come in. Any concern downstreaming a house with galvanized gutters, assuming you cool them down first? Galvanized, I would obviously keep a house wash mix only and do not let it dry. But here's the thing. I'm huge on test spots, so don't take my word for it. What I would do is go around to the back side of the house and downstream for just maybe 3 seconds and watch it. I literally stand there and watch it. And in the meantime, go ahead and go back to water on the gun. And if it tries at any point to start to darken, obviously start rinsing. But I have not had any issues out of that. So, but again, I do not start with a hot mix. So I hope that answered your question. But yeah, you want to cool them down. Most, I treat metal roofs just like solar panels, and we do those, quite often here. We did one last week, a pretty good set. But, anything that you think might react with SH, then you want to cool it down first. So just rinse the heck out of it. And then go ahead and try, not try, but go ahead and put the SH on it. And I'm talking downstream. I'm not talking proportioner on a 4. No, never start strong if you don't know, what you're getting into. Always start light and work yourself up. So, but just that's what I would do. Let's see. We'll go back to the huge. If anybody is not aware, because last year, sorry, I wasn't there last year, and you weren't either, because there wasn't a huge. But the year before in Branson, I drove in on a Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday morning we began the convention and all that. Great time. In Atlanta this time coming up, there are classes on Wednesday, the 18th. So keep that in mind. If you want to fly in or drive in or walk or whatever you're going to do to get there, there are classes on the 18th, and that's one of the classes I'm teaching is the rig building. And there's going to be plant and property protection that day. There's going to be, I believe, soft wash basics that day. So just look up on the schedule or Spray Wash Academy, whatever you have to do. But I will be there. I'm leaving Tennessee that Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we're driving to Atlanta, which is 4 hours. And that is Eastern Time. So we'll be there right around 1 p.m. Check into the hotel and, then start seeing what classes are available and go. So, let's see. Wild West says most people here in Texas will wait for a hailstorm for the insurance to pay it up before they clean it. Well, yeah. I mean, if the insurance company is going to pay for it, do it. So, actually, we're doing one right now. We're in the middle of a insurance claim, not on the business, but a small apartment complex called, and they have, which is somewhat rare here, hail damage to the vinyl. And there's actually a few holes, not many, but there are, the vinyl was so old, believe it or not, the hail rubbed the oxidation off. So it looks like a bunch of bird crap all over the vinyl, but it's not. It's just, it knocked the oxidation off. So they called us, wondering what to do. And, obviously we're out to make the most money that we can, but we're not out to gouge anybody either. And, but it's a it's a 1-2 punch coming up is what I offered to them. The first punch was going to be, hey, let's get all of the organics off the buildings so we can see what we're working with. Then the second punch is, okay, now we're going to start doing the inorganic stain removal, which will be the oxidation. And heck, I had a 15-minute conversation on the phone with the gentleman, and he totally understood. So the oxidation removal now, and again, this is not a big apartment complex. It's maybe 15 doors. It's small. So this is a 1-day job for us, but still, just explaining to the client, and this is a roofing company that called us, but explaining to them your process and what you recommend as being the professional in the field, that'll go a long ways. So I'm trying to get this camera straight. There we go. So, let's talk about asphalt shingle roofs right quick. Had an instance come up. This is not the first time. It's pretty cool when this happens, but had a homeowner call, had a dirty roof. Okay. So I started explaining the process in person, by the way. I do all roofs in person. Because again, I want to look at them and see how dirty they are and the pitch, that sort of thing. And come to find out, he mentioned that it's an insurance claim. I was like, so I put the brakes on right there. You want to clarify, what are we talking about here? Because we haven't had any kind of situations like this, but let's say that something is damaged, and they're calling you to clean it. Well, what you want to do is be very careful here because, and this is my opinion, this is not written down anywhere as far as I know, but if there's already damage to a house and you're coming to the rescue and you're coming to put your hands on it, that damage is now yours. So I put in every one of these every one of these bids that we talk about, damage claims, I put in there and take pictures. This is what we're looking at. This is previous damage before we arrived. We are here to do X, Y, Z. Spell it out. I'm telling you this because my wife is a lawyer. And the more you can spell it out, the more you can be clear about your intentions, the better off you're going to be. So again, that's my recommendation. That's what we do. It just kind of covers your rear end. The last thing you want is saying, hey, is them saying, hey, well, you did damage to my house. No, I didn't. Here's the pictures with the timestamps and the dates. So just keep that in mind. But, well, let me get back. I got off topic. But as far as the asphalt shingle, bids, if they say they have an insurance claim, okay, cool. Well, this is the second one we've done like this, where the homeowner had the house built and they put the asphalt shingles on the house. Well, the asphalt shingles came with a warranty to where they would remain clean for X number of years. And well, they get dirty too. And so this is a great question to ask your homeowner. Do you know if your roof has a warranty? Oh, it does. Cool. Okay. Well, do you have the number to the manufacturer? Yes or no. I looked up on Google. Okay. Well, the process is, at least for what we've experienced, is that we bid the roof. Whatever price you put in there, you email it, or whatever you do, give it to the homeowner, and the homeowner simply forwards it to the roofing company. They approve your bid, and they the last house I did like this, heck, we had about 2.5 weeks. We were scheduled out 2.5 weeks. The check was already in the customer's hand before we even got there. So it was already paid, and that was pretty cool. Now, I will advise against kind of naming your price because, again, I'm not out, to gouge anybody. But then again, at the end of the day, we have to eat. So, if you want to eat bologna, then bid it low. If you want to, eat steak, then you bid accordingly. So just keep that in mind. Um, so that's a good question to ask. I put on a page a few weeks, or I think it was last week, that simply taking pictures of the house that you're about to service. Take pictures of all four sides, or however how many sides it has, and keep them on your phone. I would keep them on your phone probably 4 to 6 months if you can do it, um, because you never know when somebody may call. Hey, you damaged my home. Well, I didn't, and here's the proof that I have. Now, I wouldn't be sarcastic about it. Team up with the homeowner and say, "Hey, cool, let me check that out with you." Because the last thing that you want is being an enemy of that client, and then they're not going to use you next year or the year after. So try to plant those seeds. Let's see something else that can help you guys out. Well, what I've used in the past that has helped out is, let's say, first time client calls you. Hey, I need a price for a house wash. Okay, cool, and driveway. All right. Well, you give them the price for the house and the driveway, and they're cool with it. Okay, let's get you scheduled. Do the job. When you're done, what I do with all of my clients is I come out. Um, I go to the house. We knock the door. We talk to the homeowner if they're home. We walk them around, and I always ask, is there any area that you want me to specifically focus on? You and I both know we're going to clean the whole house, but for them, it seems to make them feel better. Well, hey, yeah, you like on your car, you're going to get detailed. Hey, what do you look at the scratch for you and this kind of thing. Just something like that. But team up with them, do your work, and at the end of the job, walk the client around again. Hey, this is what this came off really well. This is that oxidation I was telling you about that is not going to come off, et cetera, et cetera. And then okay, cool. They're happy. They're in the middle of cutting you a check. All right. Well, hey, throw this question out there. And just say, hey, if you liked my services, if you liked my price, would you want to do it again next year to keep this clean and maintain it? And you'll be surprised at the answers you get. Now, be prepared though. You got to have some kind of an accounting system or scheduling system to flip that switch. Because if not, if you're like me back in the day, I was running off my phone's calendar. I literally went in there just 1 year in advance and just put all the information back in again. It works, but is it very efficient? No. So as far as a scheduling type system, we use the customer factor. I know there's many others out there, and that's fine. Use what you want to use, but I do suggest having something like that. It makes you look professional when you send in bids and proposals. Then you send a receipt, the exact same way. Then you just push a button, and then they're on for a yearly service or every other year. It's also good for commercial clients, because some of the things we do is every 90 days, and some of it's big commercial every 90 days, and that's cool. You can see what's coming up, and you don't forget about it. All right, so we got one. Is there a standard square footage price for those warranty bids? I try to get 45 cents a square foot on most roofs. Here again, my opinion, is there a standard square footage price? No, because each market is different. Here in Tennessee, may be less or more than you guys in Georgia or wherever you're located at. So I would bid it fair. I would bid it accordingly. Because remember, the homeowner still has the right to say no. I mean, they can find other bids if you're too high. If you're too low, they can also say, okay, this ain't the range I was thinking about. If you go bid a roof, you know, a whole house for 250. I mean, if you can do it, do it. But most clients some clients have a number in mind. They're trying to stick around, even though it's insurance and they're not paying for it. They still want to be sure that everything is kosher. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's see. If you could email those pictures of before to release liability on yourself, you can email them to yourself and use Google memory instead of your phone memory. That's very true. But keep in mind, like I said, the customer factor is what we use. You use what you want to. But in customer factor, when you take the picture, it stays in customer factor. It's not on your phone. So it's not taking up your phone's memory. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you're not using it, if you're not using a system like that, then then use some kind of a Google service if you want. So Jim Brown, 15 to 30 cents this area. Yep, I mean, like I tell my guys, we get what we can get. So, and we're not out to gouge people, but we're out to earn the money that we deserve at the same time. Um, so, yep. So, Jobber is great. I've heard of that one, never seen it. I'll take your word for it. Let's see. Trying to think of anything else. Let me, just a poor boy tactic. I hear that. Let's talk about what will be spoken about in my class as far as rig building. I'm going to have pictures because I like pictures. I want you to see what we're talking about. I would love to bring the rigs down and kind of show you what I'm talking about, but I'm not bringing them all four to Atlanta just to have them stolen, or all five to Atlanta to have them stolen. But I'm going to start. My outline is going to be beginner, which means, hey, I'm just starting out. What can I do to do this? And I'm going to base it off of two different main things. One is capability. What can this rig do? What can this what can't this rig do? Because obviously, the more equipment that you have, the more likely you are to cover all bases or more bases. So I'm going to start out with the beginner rigs, and then I'm going to go to intermediate. Same thing. I'm going to stick with capabilities and money. How much is this going to cost me? How much? What can this do? What can it not do? And then the third tier is going to be a pro rig, and pro is going to be your top of the line. It can pretty much do most things that we do. So, for example, it'll have hot water on it. It'll have a dedicated soft wash system. Um, Things like that. I don't want to just teach you now, but I'll have pictures. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If you're coming to the Huge, I would love for you to I would love for you to think of questions because I love answering people's questions. I want to know what questions you have. Um, Again, I started with nothing. I had $300 in my bank account when I started this business, and I had a 2.8 gallon a minute Simpson quote unquote commercial pressure washer. I'm not going to down that machine because it got me to where I am now. It was a stepping stone. So keep that in mind. Oh, let's see. Wallace says, love the Tennessee Vols tee. Well, unfortunately, this isn't a Tennessee Vols tee. This is a Alaskan gear, if you can see it. My wife bought it for me, so it's just orange. I drug it out of the closet. We went to go eat. So, believe it or not, I'm not really into sports. I'm not. I'll watch a football game here and there, but I'm not going to paint my face and that sort of thing. That ain't my thing. Um, Man, I'm one of those workaholics. I like to work. If I'm not at the shop doing something on a rig or out in the field doing something with the crews, then I'm at home working on a car or working on the razor, working on something. I was born on a farm, so I mean that's all we knew to do was to work all the time. And my wife, from time to time, she'll say, "You just can't be still, can you?" And I can't. I except right now talking to you. Um, so that's kind of who I am. But let's see. Thoughts on Goulds booster pumps? Yep. Goulds makes a good product. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they make a half horsepower booster, maybe. But mainly what I've heard spoken about was the 3/4 horsepower and the 1 horsepower. That's all we run on the rigs. As far as booster pumps go, is the Goulds. The 1 horsepower, the model number is the 5GBS10. Um, And let's talk about booster rebuilds for a second, because I don't care where you get a booster from. At least what I've seen, you're going to have to rebuild them at some point. Rebuilding, if you get a booster, you will be rebuilding it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. If it's around SH, it's going to get rebuilt eventually. It will. It'll make you a lot of money. But we're actually doing a little testing right now with 12 volt. I know everybody talks about 12 volt. It's not that we're stepping down. It's that we're trying to control overspray. We have a little issue, a little rash of jobs this spring where we were burning some plants, and I was like, well, okay, I get it, but how? What did we do? What can we do to prevent this? And I was washing a roof one day, and I used the 12 volt that had it on the new rig, and it dawned on me, wait a minute, that's what it is that and I heard people talk all the time, well, the booster is almost too much, and I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, especially a 1 horsepower. I would recommend a 1 horsepower booster if you have a lot of commercial to do. We do a lot of commercial, and it come in real handy on some of the buildings that we've done. One of our first ones was I think it was 5 or 6 story building. It was 120,000 square foot. Um, we had I believe it was a 80 foot or 100 foot lift we were using, and the booster did phenomenal on that. Phenomenal. I mean, it was cleaning in a hurry. Um, I probably would not use a 12 volt on that size of a job. But to answer your question, Goulds booster pumps, that's what we use. And I think that's what most folks use. I'm not going to say everybody. I've seen some different ones out there. But if you get a booster pump, please, don't use the ones from TSC where it says water only or fuel only, because those are not rated for chemicals. Granted, the ones that we're running aren't rated for chemicals either per se, but we still use it, and that's why I got to rebuild them. But the ones that say for water or for fuel only, I've tried that before. I've tried that in a transfer pump, and it lasted 2 days. So I learned from my $300 mistake that is not the way that you want to go. I know you want to be cheap. I do too. I'm one of the cheapest guys around here, but that's not the way you want to go. So that's my recommendation. 12 volts. We can talk about them for a second. Um, on the new rig we just built, we have like I said, 12 volt and booster on board, so it can do residential roofs and commercial jobs at the same capabilities. Um, this may be overkill, but I have the 12 volt pump running off of the pressure washer battery, which is a nice uh, deep cycle marine battery. And also, on top of our SH tank, I have a solar panel mounted. So if we're doing a roof and we're for some reason not using the pressure washer, because we use that all the time to be watering plants, protecting grass, or what have you. If for some reason the pressure washer is not running, well, the solar panel is charging the battery still. Now it's not much; it's a trickle charge, but still, at least it's trying. So. Another question. Now we're going to wrap this up in 6 minutes. It's 7:54 Central Time right now, so 6 more minutes. We'll wrap this up. I have had Gould 3/4 go and get really good, changing diffusers in minutes. One day I saw it posting about a liter or 250, but when the rig not touched it an entire season. I also do not have to worry about being off the gun. Well, cool. I personally have never heard of that. I'm sure others have that are more experienced than me, but I have not heard of that brand. I'm actually a little bit intrigued, and I'm gonna look into it now that you said that. So, but 12 volt, like I said, that's how we keep the battery charged. We got the solar panel from Harbor Freight, and it was I think 50, $60, something like that. But it maintains the battery. We've had no issues so far. And also, for the lights you have on your truck, during the daytime, that's the solar panel is charging the battery for any kind of nighttime use. So let's see. What size generator for a 3/4 and 1 horsepower booster? I go overkill. Um, I run the Harbor Freight Predator 8750, which by the way has been discontinued. It's now the 9000. I run that one, and again, it's overkill. But on a 1 horsepower booster, I would do nothing less than 4,000 watts. So that's what I've been told by many people, including Tim Hazelton. And I'm sure he's in communication with Goulds and that sort of thing. But um, and also, you want your plugs that you're plugging the generator into to be rated for a 20 amp draw. Here at my house, I've ran the booster, and in my garage circuits on a 15 amp breaker. And after about 3 minutes, it trips the breaker. But on the generators that you buy, like the Harbor Freight or any other ones, they're generally 20 amp rated. So if you're having issue with the booster cutting off and it's should be running fine, that's the first thing I would check is how is your breaker rated. So now for a 3/4 booster, you probably could go 3,500 watts, maybe 3,000, but 4,000 is kind of the number you want to stick around. And again, I'm not a huge Harbor Freight guy, but I've got one about 8 minutes from the house, and Northern Tool sitting right next to it. And Northern Tool sells the Hondas, which are like $2,000, and the ones at Harbor Freight, the 9,000 watt is 680, maybe 720. So I mean, I always buy the warranty too because they're going to go down. We've had to return to 3 of them so far, and so we kind of got them mounted in a quick release style fashion. So if they go down, we can run to Harbor Freight right quick and swap them out. So what else you got? Got 3 minutes here, and I'm gonna clock out like I tell all the guys. Hope to see y'all at the Huge. Again, I'm gonna give you a few pointers. If you didn't hear me last week, if you go to the Huge, the classes are great. All of them. I mean, they can be beneficial. There's gonna be a lot of motivational speakers. But the thing that helps me the most is when I go to the Huge, is the talk around the bar. And yeah, you're going to have your jokes and that fun stuff. But other business owners, whether they have 1 rig, 10 rigs, whatever they may have, they're going to sit and talk with you, and you can ask them questions, and you can learn from what they have done. And it may be in a different part of the world, and I say world because we may have some coming from Australia this year, but it just pick their brain, ask them questions. That's real life experience that you're talking about, and listen. That's the thing. Don't be an ask hole. And what I'm talking about is one that just asks tons of questions but never listens. Okay, listen to what they have to say. There's guys out there that with businesses much larger than mine, so they're gonna have a lot more to say, and a lot more experience. Then there's guys that are just starting out. I encourage you, don't make fun of the guys just starting out, because you were probably there once too, and I just don't recommend that. It don't look good for you. So, but it's 7:59, folks. I'm gonna holler at Dougie and let him go ahead and shut this down in just a second. But hey, I look forward to meeting each and every one of you at the Huge. You probably know our shirts by now. The Veterans Pressure Washing red, white, and blue flames or stripes, whatever you want to call them on the shirt. We're gonna have our whole crew there. The employees are gonna be there. My window team's gonna be there. My stain and seal team's gonna be there. So feel free to stop and ask them any kind of questions. But remember, they have lives too, and they have families back at home, so they'll be tending to their phones and that sort of thing as well. So again, that is it for the night. Look forward to seeing y'all next week. Y'all have a good night.